The Apple Pencil is one of the most powerful tools that you can use with the iPad, but it's often marketed towards artists. But it can be a really handy instrument even if you aren't an artist. This video is sponsored by Paperlike. So I want to start off with some tips and tricks for using the Apple Pencil in just general everyday use and how you could use it with your iPad. The first one is Quick Note. You can take the Apple Pencil and swipe up from the bottom right hand corner of your iPad. This is going to get you a little notes window that works directly with the Notes app. You can handwrite notes in here, you can type things in here, you can put images, screenshots, whatever. Now, you can use your finger to summon this if you're not using Stage Manager. If you're using Stage Manager, you have to use the Apple Pencil to bring up Quick Note. If you swipe up from the bottom left corner, you can take a screenshot. You can then use the Apple Pencil to mark up screenshots, write on them, highlight things, do whatever you want. On the lock screen of the iPad, you can tap the display and this will open up a new note in the Notes app. From there, you can just start handwriting out notes. What is really nice about this is because you're just tapping on the screen, you don't actually have to use Face ID or Touch ID to authenticate. But if you do it this way, it doesn't give you access to all of your other notes for security reasons. This way, somebody can't just take your iPad, tap the lock screen with the Apple Pencil and get access to all of your other stuff. It's just that new note. And you can go into the settings and specify how quickly it jumps between the note that you were just using or a new note. In the Notes app, when you're handwriting stuff out, it actually OCRs your handwritten notes. This is really powerful because this means you can use the search utility both in the Notes app and Spotlight to search for stuff that you've handwritten in the Notes app. You can also highlight this handwritten text and copy it. Now, if you go and paste it into an app that doesn't support handwritten text, it's going to paste it as typed text, so it'll do the conversion for you. You can also select text and move it around as well. And if you're diagramming something out in, say, the Notes app, you could draw a shape, so a circle or a triangle, square, rectangle, whatever. And if you just hold for a second when completing that shape, it'll make it the perfect size. So a circle will have a perfect radius, a triangle will have the proper angles that you are drawing, square will be a square, a rectangle will be a rectangle. You might see this tool set in a variety of different apps. You'll definitely see it in the Notes app and Freeform, but you'll also see it in other third-party apps as well. This is called Pencil Kit, and this is kind of the standard toolkit set for using the Apple Pencil. This includes a pen, marker, eraser, ruler, crayon, calligraphy pen, and more. If you tap on the selected tool again, you'll get options to change the thickness of the brush stroke and the opacity. There's also a color picker. You can go in here and you can select any color you want from different spectrums and grids and all sorts of different things. You can hit the plus button down at the bottom to save a specific color. So if your company has a specific purple they work with or a green that they work with, you can save that so it's always a preset right down there in the bottom. You can delete one of these presets by just long pressing on it. Also in the Pencil Kit toolset, you can insert stickers, text, signatures, or shapes. One of my favorite features about it though is you can minimize it and move it around. So if it's in your way, you can just flip it to the other side of the iPad, you can shrink it down, you can do whatever you want to get it out of your way so you can just be focused on your note or drawing or diagram or whatever you're doing. Scribble is one of those tools that I can see it be really handy for people that like handwriting things out, that are really good at handwriting. My handwriting is terrible. You might have seen it in the video already. It's utterly horrible. But there are a lot of people out there that have really good handwriting, that they can handwrite faster than they can type, and this is where Scribble comes in. So in apps that are primarily typed text, I'm going to use Drafts here as an example. This is an app you would normally just type text into. You can take the Apple Pencil and you can just start writing out words, sentences, phrases, paragraphs, whatever, and then it will take that handwritten text and convert it into typed text. Really cool. And then there's different shortcuts for like scribbling things out, like you can cross things out and it'll delete it. You can add punctuation and all sorts of different things. This video is sponsored by Paperlike. One of my favorite products Paperlike makes is their cleaning kit solution. The iPad, by its very nature, gets really dirty. Between our fingerprints and oils and all sorts of stuff, it gets all over the device. Paperlike just launched a new version of their cleaning kit solution. This one is all about reusability and convenience. The spray head generates a much smoother and consistent stream than the previous version. After spraying, you just wipe down the iPad with the bottle, which is covered in a microfiber pad. Your iPad will look squeaky clean afterwards. The product itself is now thinner, taking up less space in your bag. I bring one with me on all of my trips. The spray bottle fits in the hardshell case both ways now, so you don't have to fiddle with it to get it in the right way. And what's really cool is the container can now be refilled. Each purchase of the spray bottle comes with an extra 5 pellets. When the spray bottle is empty, you just add a pellet, fill it with tap water, and wait 10 minutes. I love this device and use it every day. I'm somebody that lives off of their iPad, so my iPad is constantly dirty. And if you're like me and you use the Paperlike screen protector, this is just gonna help make it last even longer. I'm gonna put links in the description below to where you can go check out Paperlike's new cleaning kit solution. My thanks to Paperlike for sponsoring this video. iPadOS 17 got some really killer PDF support features. You can now add text boxes right into a PDF, and you can use your Apple Pencil with that as well. And you could add signatures, and you could save a signature, so you can just quickly insert it, and you could save it by using the Apple Pencil to draw it out. Pretty handy. It's not like those UPS devices when you're trying to sign for a package and you're just like, for a while now, you've been able to use your iPad to scan documents. There's a built-in scanner in the Notes app, Mail, and Files. When scanning documents, you can select it to scan multiple pages, you can insert things, you can do all sorts of stuff in the scanning process. But once you've scanned it, you get a PDF document, and you guessed it, you can use the Apple Pencil to mark up that PDF document. You can highlight certain passages, maybe somebody needs to sign here, or you really need to emphasize something, like you don't want somebody to forget that. You can edit it, you can be like, hey, this part doesn't work, let's rework this, all sorts of different things. Now, the second generation Apple Pencil, and there are 3 Apple Pencil currently, but the second generation one, the one that wirelessly charges with like the iPad Pros and iPad Air, has a feature called double tap. So you can double tap kind of towards the bottom of the Apple Pencil, and there's a few different things you can do with this. You can change this in Settings, Apple Pencil. What I like to do is I like to have this jump between my current tool and the eraser. That's what I find to be the most handy, but you can just have it jump between your 2 recent tools, or you can have it jump to a color picker and your recent tool as well. You can have it jump back and forth between those, whichever works for you. Now, for those that have the new iPad Pro, the one with the M2 chip, there is a feature called Apple Pencil Hover. And I wasn't exactly sure at the first that I would ever really use this. It really seemed like something for artists. Basically, it's a way to preview your brush stroke before your Apple Pencil ever touches the canvas. It's kind of a cool feature, but it wasn't exactly something that was made for me. But what I found myself using it for a lot is navigation. When I'm just sitting down with the iPad, no keyboard or trackpad or anything like that, just in tablet mode, I use my Apple Pencil a lot to navigate through the UI. And Apple Pencil Hover kind of gives like, hey, you're about ready to click this kind of thing. It's kind of like, almost works like a cursor. It's really nice. I don't think that alone is worth upgrading your iPad for, but if you already have an M2 iPad Pro, maybe give it a shot. And then another thing for the second generation Apple Pencil is it has pressure sensitivity. So what this means is if I'm drawing something or handwriting something out and I'm kind of using like a fine stroke or something like that, it's gonna look like that. But if I add more pressure, it's gonna get thicker and darker. Now, if you don't have the second generation Apple Pencil, maybe you have the new USB-C one, you can get around not having this by just making the stroke thicker and your color darker, turning up the opacity or whatever. So I use the Apple Pencil in a bunch of different ways. Like I mentioned, when I just sit down in tablet mode, I don't have the Magic Keyboard or I'm not at my desk or whatever, I use the Apple Pencil to navigate through the UI, but I also use it a lot for video and photo editing, especially in Final Cut. The Apple Pencil Hover feature is really great in Final Cut because you can just scroll through the timeline without ever having to like put the pencil down. You can just see the timeline. You can use the jog wheel. I always call it the scrub wheel. The jog wheel, really nice for that kind of thing. And I also use the Apple Pencil with Lightroom. Lightroom and the Apple Pencil work really well together, especially just like moving the sliders and stuff like that. Works really well. This is how I edit a lot of my photos because I'll just sit down in the chair that's right there, just kind of edit photos, go through, have some fun. I just took a bunch of photos of my Mustang and like I've been editing those lately. I also use it with GoodNotes as well. Now, I know some people aren't exactly happy about GoodNotes going to a subscription. It's an app I use every single day. I just paid for the lifetime version. I'm happy with it. I like it. But I use GoodNotes for journaling every morning. I sit down and just kind of like write how yesterday went, what I want to accomplish today, how I'm going to tackle it, and things like that. I also use GoodNotes for marking up scripts. So every time I'm writing a script, I export it to GoodNotes and I sit down with my iPad and the Apple Pencil and I go through it and just mark scripts up, come up with, you know, like if, hey, this thing's not working, let's rework this, or, you know, whatever. I also use that as a shot list checklist, so that's kind of nice as well. The last app that I use a lot with the Apple Pencil is Freeform. I've gotten really into Freeform lately as a diagramming tool for laying out projects and different things that I'm working on. I'm kind of in the process of, I think, I haven't 100% decided, but I may be swapping my bedroom and my office around because my bedroom is a little bit bigger and I need a little more space. So I've been using Freeform to diagram out how that office move would look. Let's talk about a couple of hardware options that I use with the Apple Pencil. The first is the Infinity iPad stand. This is an magnetic iPad stand from the Lab 22 set of accessories. You put your iPad in there, you can put it down at a nice height, and you can write on it, you can draw on it, and it's sturdy. It's not gonna collapse in on itself. A lot of iPad stands that I've used that were made for the Apple Pencil weren't exactly tested right, and they weren't sturdy, and like the minute you add any pressure, the whole thing would just collapse. So this doesn't, and it works really well for that. The other thing I use, and they're a sponsor of this video, but I legitimately use it. It's on both of my iPads, and I'm gonna mention it anyways outside the sponsorship. But no, they're sponsoring this video, and they've sponsored a bunch of my past videos. But it is the Paperlike screen protector. I really like it. It's a matte screen protector, so it cuts down on light reflection when I'm working outside. But when I'm using it with the Apple Pencil, it doesn't feel like you're using like plastic and glass. You know how you get that squeaky feeling when you're using the Apple Pencil with the iPad? You don't get that. It feels like you're writing on paper, and I like that feeling a lot more. So there's two use cases to it. I like it enough. It's on both of my personal iPads, and I'll always have one on there. I want to hear from you all. How are you using your Apple Pencil? My thanks to Paperlike for sponsoring this video. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a great day.